to the Internet Soapbox Podcast. This is episode 2 of our shit show, to be honest. There goes the monetization.
This is probably the only time we could say it's the Electric Boogaloo, because after this, we'll never have a second chance.
We could say it's the Boogaloo if it's like the 22nd episode or the 222nd episode.
If you really want to stretch it out that far.
I guess.
I mean, you could.
That's a long Boogaloo.
Yeah.
That is
a
long.
very
What is a
long
Boogaloo?
What span of time is a Boogaloo?
Exactly how many hours does it need to be before it is in fact an official level of Boogaloo?
How much does that, how does that relate to scores?
And how much Boogaloo can you have before it becomes a problem? Like, when does the Boogaloo just get too much?
For nobody that saw that.
I saw it.
I'm talking about our viewers, right?
I don't care what they can see.
Our viewer. No, I had this little rubber toy thing. It's like a little sticky toy, and I threw it against the wall right between Rich and Travis. So,
Oh yeah.
that's right. We have a new person on right now. Hannah couldn't be with us tonight, so we have Travis here.
Yes, I am here.
And there's also me, Ricky. We didn't do any introductions this time.
He's also a moderator on the Discord, so if you're a part of our Discord, then you probably have seen him around.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Again.
You already know me.
You all know me. That's all that matters.
This is Elliot.
I'm not the bitch you forget.
I'm Nathan, as you know.
So, yeah. So, last time we promised you shit, and more shit. More of the same.
Yeah.
More of the same. If you're in the middle of a project, this is your excuse to stop, but in about 45 minutes, get back to it.
Hey, you out there. Have you had water today? Drink water. Love you.
Drink soda, better substitute.
We might as well just keep going on with what we were talking about before, which was actually video games and stuff. We could just do that.
Okay, well, just 1 second. I just want to bring up a Boogaloo.
We need this.
Oh,
okay.
He's done the research, guys. He has phone in hand.
So, it refers to several different styles of dance from the 60s, but it also is a new slang term for the upcoming Civil War used by the alt-right.
That's why is it that every meme... Okay, can I just say, as someone who is not on the political right, can we stop ascribing all of the good, funny memes to the right? You're only gonna lose the culture war that way. What the fuck? Okay, so...
I'm ready for the culture war. I got my guns. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
Because I don't get it. It's yes, all of the good and fun things. No, we don't identify with the good and fun things. Those belong to the ethereal, creepy, alt-right who's sneaking around the corner of the internet, and they're probably a part of the hacker known as 4chan.
Here we
and
go.
As soon as you said that, I'm like, oh man, anything I was about to say just went out the window. Fuck it.
The hacker known as 4chan. So I don't know. That's just that doesn't seem like a good marketing strategy or campaign to me, personally. And then when you put, a 77-year-old guy with dementia in the front of it.
And I know you're only listening to us right now because it makes you feel comfortable that there's someone in the room with you, but unfortunately there isn't.
Rich.
I have a very dark sense of humor.
Rich.
I'm not sorry.
Rich.
I already threatened our people last time. I can only double down.
Well, last time we already got all the Hitler talk out of the way, so
no,
because
there was
we got
no
more
issue
room.
with that. There was no issue with that. The only issue is when he mentioned the S word.
That's true.
Sex?
We can't talk about the S word.
You can't talk about the S word or the people associated with it.
No.
Sex?
So I'm just gonna get up. I'm just gonna get up and walk out. Get my furry suit.
Small blue animal. That starts with S.
yes. That gentleman.
Yeah, but like you said, you want to get into video games.
Yes.
Fuck. Where do I want to begin on that one? How about the fact I can't get any of my fucking old consoles to work on new TVs?
Well,
oh yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As the owner of a GameCube, that is something that does concern me.
That's the one
Yes.
thing I can run.
Oh, speaking of which,
Yeah, for how
she just
long?
found her copy.
Very long.
Yeah, but for how long will
How
we
long
be
will
able to
you be
do
able
I
that?
have enough adapters for that. I plugged in one that actually plugs into the TV through the coaxial, and it refuses to read it because of the the aspect ratio. It crashes my systems.
I dug out my closet today and I found my copy of Super Mario Sunshine. I found my copy of Paper Mario. I found Luigi's Haunted Mansion, Pokemon Coliseum, and all that good stuff.
I'm a huge Pokemon
It
fan.
is, but I loved it as a kid.
Pokemon Coliseum, and I want to play it just to have the experience.
No,
I played it as a child. It was fun.
Honestly, it's worth playing because it is a fun game.
Yep.
But as soon as you bring another person in on it, it's trash. It's just absolute trash.
Yes.
And me and my friends used to play it all the time, and we would do, like, we'd have one guy is the announcer, and he would just bullshit and just throw shade everywhere as we were playing. And of course, because they are competitive Pokemon players, if they're even listening, you know who you are.
You know.
They know all the things, and they're like, Rich, why'd you pick that Pokemon? I like the way it looks. It's pretty.
The only reason to choose a Pokemon, let's be real.
Everyone's like, why do you like Cyndaquil? Oh, it's because you like the fire type moves are like more aggressive. I like it's got fire. And when it evolves, it's got more fire.
Typhlosion's cool looking.
What we need to talk about though, in as I point this fake rifle threateningly at people.
You're pointing it at the microphone, not
At the people at home.
So
We're threatening you again.
So like the sprites, the sprites, like the
That's, you
old
sound like a little sprite, honey.
From 1 to
Gen
1 to Gen 5 up to Black and White. I really enjoyed the way how expressive the sprites were and stuff.
Oh yeah.
The 3D models of X and Y and past are just like PS1 energy. Like
PS1.
just standing there, just being
like PS1 Hagrid from the Harry Potter game.
That fake breathing animation.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah, because when I breathe, God knows that I bend my knees and ever so slightly.
The thing is, I would forgive it for the most part for what's the fact that in Sun and Moon, especially, the big one I can throw in is Drowsy. The way he moves.
Oh, God.
And I'm just like, dude, I don't need a flourish on every goddamn Pokemon. We don't need him to be like, woo, with his fingers as he sits there. I just want to fucking put him out.
Look, I don't need his fingers to be doing like this. His Pokedex entry is creepy enough. I don't need any.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need the rape hands. I don't need the molester hands.
Gen was it Gen 2's Hypno entry was like really dark.
Oh,
Yeah, Gen 2, Gold and Silver.
Yeah, Hypno's freaky.
Yeah, gotta love Game Freak and how they just turn around and be like,
I
oh,
don't know
look
what
at
it
this
is
cute
with
Pokemon.
them and what it is with them and like taking a Pokemon who, yeah, you know, kind of cool looking or mildly mysterious, and it's like, oh yeah, let's just give him the darkest anime backstory possible.
I think it's because they mix it up with yokai, like actual yokai, and not knockoff Pokemon.
Right.
But they basically took that lore on top of the creator's love of bug catching in the city, and put it together. And dark things happen when you take a bug and you take a monster, and you just kind of slam them together and go, yeah, there's nothing wrong can happen here.
All right, I'm gonna read this
It
one
is a
live.
little creepy, I would say.
And this is from Gen 3, Pokemon Fire Red. It carries a pendulum-like device. There was once an incident in which it took away a child it hypnotized. I don't want to catch that Pokemon.
Well, Drowsy's was even freakier than that. It says, okay, so if I recall correctly, it says it enjoys eating dreams.
It finds children.
It says it enjoys eating children's dreams the most because it thinks they're the tastiest. Like, that's freaky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ruby and Sapphire. This is for Drowsy. If your nose becomes itchy while you are sleeping, it's a sure sign that one of these Pokemon is standing above your pillow and trying to eat your dream through your nostrils.
Jesus.
Through your
Oh,
nostrils?
Damn.
No.
What is this, fucking Egypt? So we're gonna go remove all his organs, right? Yeah, cool. So how are we gonna do that? Well, I'm gonna take this straw thing with a little nick at the end, okay? And we're just gonna go
Just scramble it up in
right
there.
out.
Yeah.
I think that's the definition of discombobulation, but I could be wrong.
I mean, anybody like brain smoothies?
Anyone like Indiana Jones?
I mean, yeah.
What? Hey, Jimmy, what do you remember from the second Indiana Jones movie? The monkey brains! The monkey brains!
Speaking of organs and Indiana Jones, do you know he was like he was recovering from severe dysentery while he was filming that movie? I'm serious. So you know that scene where the what you call him? The guy he's fighting with the swordsman dude in the street, and he does this intricate spinning thing. So Harrison Ford was supposed to do something similar, and he had this they had this choreographed fight scene, but he was so exhausted, so tired that he just whipped out his pistol and went, poof. And then everybody just kind of played along, and they were like, you know what, I like that better.
I do. I like that a lot better.
So I mean, I got a lot of weird film trivia. Sorry guys.
Oh no, you're good. I mean, that's like the thing though. It's like Indiana Jones and this guy, like you're saying, he does all this intricate stuff with, and it's like, oh yeah, here's our hero. He's just gonna shoot him in the head.
Yeah, here's our hero. That's our guy. That's the guy who's gonna save the world.
That's not Indiana Jones. That's just Harrison Ford.
That's the guy
That's just straight up Harrison Ford.
Yeah, that's gonna find this is the guy who's gonna find the Ark of the Covenant and keep it from the Nazis. Like
that's my favorite Harrison Ford thing is with Star Wars when basically first movie, okay, I'll be in it, but we're only doing one, right? Second movie. Okay, guys, I don't want to be in this. Can you just kill me off? Kill me off. Okay, cool, fine. Third movie. What? You brought me back? Fine. Trilogy, we're done. We're done, right? Next 3 movies happen. Harrison Ford's sitting pretty. He doesn't have to actually go and
he's
do
not
anything.
in them, no.
He's not in them. They bring him back. Okay, look, I'm going to do it. Cameo. You're going to kill me off, right?
For the
all I wanted. It's all I ever wanted. Kills him off. The last movie comes out where he's there, and all I picture is, I was out! I was done! And now I'm back!
Every time I think about, they just pull me right back in.
He finally got what he wanted. He got killed off, and then it's like, cool, do you need another paycheck? Not really. But
yeah,
do you
Harrison
really?
Ford needs another check, right? Yeah, sure.
Does anyone actually still like Ark of the Covenant? Yeah, why would anyone not like it? I'll be fine. They'll rebuy it on DVD, they'll Blu-ray, they'll buy the digital release to 4K. Right when 8K becomes a thing, they'll buy that too. Don't worry about it. I'm fine.
I saw Nate and I were in Best Buy, and we were looking in the TV section literally just because we were bored, and they had an 8K TV, and it's kind of disturbing because not only was it 8K, it was curved. It was a curved screen, and I felt it looked more vibrant than reality looks.
Yes.
Like, I kind of felt like I was gonna fall into it, and it was a little bit terrifying because I'm just like, wow, what if this really is all a simulation?
Oh man, you want to get into that?
When the simulation is getting more real than
you get into Mario 64 into the TV, you just jump in.
So there's a theory. I forget where I've seen it. But it's an idea that we can, if we were to assume we're a simulation, there is no way to tell how advanced we are, but we can tell how far we are from the bottom.
Yes.
Just because it's all about what kind of simulation can simulate something, and how many simulations can simulate something until we reach a point where simulation cannot simulate. It is unfortunate that The Sims is pretty close to the bottom, and we simulated that. So that's a terrifying thought.
It's like, what if this is the peak? What if...
The peak is that the peak is we can find the bathroom and not get stuck in a house that was clearly built by a madman.
And then, like, take all the doors away and set it on fire. Because your god is an angry god.
Clearly, this is the better universe. Your god's not an angry god. He's worse. He is a bored god.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's almost worse than as I... Stop!
Oh, my
That's
Lord.
probably
Like,
copyright.
your life goes
you're right.
perfectly from the day you're born up until, like, just into your adulthood. And then things just start falling apart. Why? Because, honestly, like, Grand Theft Auto 3920 just came out in the higher universe. And, really? I don't really need to keep my Sims alive. Just shake the Tamagotchi. Don't worry about it.
Shake the Tamagotchi.
It's kind of like a, like whenever we start talking about simulation. I think about that Avenged Sevenfold's last album, the Stage. Have you heard it?
I haven't heard much from it.
It's so good. It travels in the realm of sci-fi and, like, nuclear war, and if we are in a simulation, it kind of like all that futurist, really scary stuff. It's interesting. It was a good album.
I like the idea of the Time X theory that you could have that everything was started at a single point, and anything before that point was programmed in. So Time X could have been 10 minutes ago, or it could have been years ago, and you'll never know. And that's also because I did a research paper for...
My fucking brain hurts.
Yeah. I did a research paper for my natural history, my nature writing course, and I went into natural history, and I went into the idea that my teacher brought on is where's the boundaries of nature? What's the last thing that's completely natural? And I said everything is 100% natural. There's nothing except for I think the only argument I had was your thoughts are the last thing that is unnatural. And even that is debatable.
I can see where you could argue that. It's just like
The
I
fact
would
that
think full stop, like whenever, like it's like anything man-made or maybe even higher primates, I don't know, but like it's like when they start making tools, that's when I think it's manufactured. I'm looking at the mic when I'm talking.
get used to it.
But I think that if it's something that's just kind of sprung out of the ground, or like animals who just rely on instincts and that whole idea of what is a
Humans
soul
rely on
bullshit,
instincts.
like
Humans are animals.
You know what I mean?
But the thing is that I argue that if we can take any force of nature and call it natural, then even if man can manipulate it, it's still a natural force. So everything in my room that we're sitting in right now, the fact that people can hear us through the internet is all natural processes working together that we have forced into this funnel to make it happen. It's 100% natural. We don't think it that way because we think of ourselves above nature.
Did you see my face?
Yeah,
We need to stop throwing this against the wall because it's creating gray spots.
I mean, they could probably wash out, but yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch it.
But the idea is that everything that we've done is still natural. The only the limit we have is the idea that ideas exist but don't exist. So that might be the last of the unnatural things. But you can argue the fact that we're doing it makes it natural because it can exist in a natural world.
Shit, man, I just thought we were going to talk about video games.
Yeah, we went on a long tangent.
Well, video games are a simulation of sorts, and we're talking about simulations.
Well, that's the thing. Is like if you want to talk about simulations, like you're talking about with the Grand Theft Auto thing.
Yeah.
That's like the new Ryan Reynolds movie coming out,
Messing with that.
where he's an artificial intelligence like in a game, and then becomes like what do you call it, like sentient.
Yeah.
Like he starts like because he goes through this,
Self-actualization.
and he's go through this whole process daily, everything like just every day like some player comes through and
He
does
becomes
all this stuff.
self-aware.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he's like. I think the movie's called like Good Guy or something, and then he becomes like this amazing like hero that's supposed to save the day for all the other artificial intelligence and all this.
That's cool.
I would play it.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of same thing, I'm gonna put a little endorsement for Ben Yahtzee Croshaw. Mogworld, one of the few books I read and loved because it's about an MMO where a character, an NPC, comes to life. That's fine. He actually dies, then gets brought back to life by a necromancer and questions everything, and it's fucking hilarious. Down to when the necromancer brings everyone back to life, and they all walk out. And he's like, "You work for me now," and they go, "What's the benefits?" We want maternity leave. Like, maternity leave? You're zombies. We just want the option.
Look, I've been thinking about starting a family.
You don't know. Future comes, things happen. You're dead.
That's so fucking funny.
But I love it. In the first chapter, it just starts with like, we defended our school of magic. We lost awfully, and then the clouds parted, and it was wonderful, and everything was great as I was dying. And then I got ripped right from it.
It's kind of like the scene from South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, where he's floating towards the clouds. And
Little boy,
he
you
falls-
over
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I actually, I just picture them like. So how big is our network of doctors? Dude,
Me.
wait, so you can do everything? Because I don't want to have to go out of network and pay extra fees. Like,
What if I'm on a mission to like the other castle? Can I use their doctor? First off, you would use necromancer. Second off, what?
what? I fantasy games, dude.
I love low fantasy specifically. I love it when you have fantasy elements mixed with real life issues.
That is cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why Bright would have been so good if they actually took that movie and really worked on their world. Because it's so disjointed, but it's such a great springboard. And, like, I'm engrossed in it just enough to be like, man, this could work. I really wish they would flesh out all these problems.
It's really, it feels like the director had a dream, and, like, he just literally just built it on the dream and nothing else. Like, didn't add any elements to it. It felt like a dream.
So what is your storyboard? Yes.
Yeah. So what's your storyboard? Well, here's the story. Okay, cool. So you have this world you're building. Yeah. And you have all these characters. Yeah. So what's the background for them? Oh, well, we drew this nice little place. No. I'm talking about, like, why do they exist? What are their matter? Oh, they're there to do the thing for the story. Cool. But what do they do when they're not during the story? We're not filming that. Like, no. Speaking of which, do you guys mind if I rant about one thing? It's video game related.
Sure thing.
Yeah. Fuck you, Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution. I hate you.
That came out on my birthday.
Yeah, I just recently watched it. I love the first movie. It's a bad movie, but I love it. And I will defend that movie regardless of how terrible it is, because it's the first Pokemon movie. All the stupid things they've done in it, my kid brain was okay with it. I even watch to this day, and I still tear up when Mewtwo does his big line. And I'm like, that's brilliant.
Yep.
I love it. How did you fuck that up?
All I have is one phrase. Hard winds are a breeze for Pidgeotto here.
They basically took the movie that had this pretty streamlined, backstory. A lot of things were implied. A lot of things made sense to an extent, as long as you knew what Pokemon was.
If you played the games, then you got it.
But even if you watched the anime, or even if you walked in, you would understand Mewtwo's specific reasons, and they drained it down to him repeating the same line over and over again. Who am I? What am I doing here? Mewtwo, you fucking know why you're here! At least in the other one, people would tell you why you're here, and you go, oh, I guess that makes sense. But this angers me, because I don't feel like that's right, so I'm going to destroy everything. This one is, I don't know who I am. You're Mewtwo. Why am I here? Well, we created you. Who am I? What? What am I doing here? Okay, blows up the lab. Giovanni shows up. Doesn't fucking even need to convince Mewtwo of anything. Just shows up and is like, yeah, no, humans and Pokemon, things. Come with me. Who am I? Doesn't matter. What am I doing here? Well, there's a lab. We can move on. We can go somewhere else. Like, I can show you a map. I'll show you where we are. But, my God. And then they took out scenes, like they took out the Viking scene, which made sense. Like, that didn't age well.
Yeah.
But they just fucking... Every step of the way, they found ways to just take these nice subtleties of the movie, throw them out, state the obvious, and then keep going.
Yeah.
They at least keep the same voice actor.
I think all the voice actors are the same or similar.
I mean, for Mewtwo, because it's like there's one line where the actor delivers where it's like it still sticks with me. Like, I don't remember anything about the movie, but I just remember somebody was talking to Mewtwo. They're like, "You're just a monster. You're an illusion," and he goes, I am no illusion.
They removed that.
Really?
That entire sequence. The entire fucking sequence! Which is out of sequence, by the way. The entire thing from the minute they get to the island to when the Pokemon are fighting is completely out of sequence. They took, when Team Rocket shows up and they see all the Pokemon being cloned?
Yeah.
They show that the Pokemon are being cloned before Team Rocket shows up there!
So it completely removes, it's like, they explain what's going on, but it's in a way where it does feel insulting, probably. I haven't seen this movie since I was about 10, but it seems like, that was a good way to explain to children, oh, hey, this is what's going on, this is wrong.
Yeah, but the thing is, they show every element in the original comes up first, then it's explained. It comes up, it's introduced, explained.
Yep.
Introduced, explained. It's a very simple story tactic, it's for kids, I get it, that's fine. It works. This one is... I'm going to tell you what the thing is. Team Rocket stumbles onto it. I'm going to tell you what my plan is. Everyone's going to be like, what's that? He explains his plan. They're like, no, I can't believe you're going to do that. Well, let me tell you my plan. Wait, where are we just here? Why is it out of sequence?
Tell me the plan.
Oh my God. And then they do the Pokemon battle first.
What?
They do the Pokemon battle first before they The clones are all the three main clones already exist before they start capturing the Pokemon.
What?
It's out of sequence and it's infuriating.
So is this a remake or
It's a
is
remake.
it
It's just almost, I'm gonna say almost shot for shot remake in 3D. And the 3D actually looks fucking fantastic. I actually love it.
Yeah, I was gonna
Okay,
say.
but why couldn't they have just taken the original movie and then
That's it.
This is my entire problem with the whole
Yeah.
thing!
that would have first off cost less,
Yes.
as you would not have to pay that many editors, and second off, the result would have been better and truer to people's hearts and memories.
They changed, like they did try to make some sensible changes. Where they changed the guy who shows up and he looks more like something from Team Aqua or Team Magma.
Right.
So that makes sense. My god, they literally did a Japanese run of this, and instead of doing an edited version for the English run, they just threw dubbing on top of it.
Oh, no.
And in 2D, that makes sense because
Right.
you can edit it a little bit for the lip flaps.
Oh,
This
sure.
one, it's Speed Racer. It's just them talking really fast to try to cover when they're talking because they're talking really fast. They gotta cover it,
Yikes.
and it's so bad. But the voice acting's not bad.
Oh, that's good.
The visuals are great.
That's
Yes.
The
good.
voice acting isn't bad. Fucking Meowth. The thing I really liked was when Meowth was talking with the other Meowth.
Yep.
And it was just this nice civil conversation. One scene. That's it in this one. They made it into one scene. They barely talk at all.
I really that's the thing is I really felt for Meowth in the first movie when
I felt
he
it
lost
too.
her.
Yeah.
It was a her, right? Was it canon? It was a her, or
I don't know if it's canon. It was a her. I don't know. But
then
it.
again, you don't really hear that many non-talking Meowths in the anime, so you don't
Yeah.
know what their voice sounds
Right.
like when it's just meow.
That's probably the best thing in this film is they revamped Team Rocket a little bit, so it was very much the same old Team Rocket you remember, but they revamped them to be a little more over the top, and it worked. Like anytime Team Rocket was on screen, I was having a great time, even though the Meowth scenes brought down Meowth when he's translating Mew.
Yeah.
Those scenes are gone. It's like one time he does
But
it.
that's the entire purpose of that's part of what gave Meowth's character purpose in the movie.
I know, it's so fucking infuriating. This movie, I watched it. I said the Sonic movie was going to be a dumpster fire, walked out of it saying, nah, that was actually so good. I
It's a good
can't believe
movie.
it was so good.
It's a good movie.
And then I go over to the Pokemon, I'm like, oh, let me see what they do with the evolution. Yeah, I know a lot of people didn't like the art style of it. The 3D models aren't the greatest, but they look good. Especially the Pokemon look good.
Yeah.
And then they open their mouths, and they're talking really fast, and the lines get messed up. Oh my god, in the original, they don't even mention that Nurse Joy is missing? They don't mention
It's
it.
implied.
It's implied.
That was the part that made it the
There's
best.
an entire sequence where they have to talk about how Nurse Joy from the most recent town is missing,
Sure.
and then they show up to the
Sure.
thing, and they see the mysterious lady, and they just straight up go, "You're Nurse Joy," and she goes, "No," and they go, "Okay," and then they walk away. Then when the reveal happens, oh my god, it's Nurse Joy, and I want to strangle someone. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
As someone who took animation and does I go through narratives and everything, it angers me when you fuck it up that bad. It's like watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, the movie again.
Oh god.
Oh god, did that piss me off. I'm not gonna get into that rant because I will never shut up. But to end my rant on the Pokemon one, you had the movie. If you do this with 2000, I will shoot someone.
I mean, I remember when I was growing up, right? And 3D movie technology was really being pushed and it was really coming to the forefront. And so what they did is they took old Disney, old Pixar, and all of these old movies, and they didn't touch the plot, didn't mess with anything. They just took it and integrated it with the 3D, and showed it in theaters for 2 weeks or so each time.
And you see, sometimes we have really good animation, good 3D animation from the 90s, and then we have Return the Slum.
He's freaky still. What do you
No,
mean? He's
do not.
freaky still.
Okay, I get it. Yes, it's terrible because of the time.
Well, yeah.
But thinking about it during the time, I
I
still think it holds
I
up.
still have
Yes,
nightmares
of course
about
it holds up.
Ramses. I do.
Ramses is scary.
Yes.
Ramses. Okay. The
For
other
anybody who doesn't know, because we kind of jumped over a couple of subjects with no segue, that's a reference to Courage the Cowardly Dog. There's
Yes.
It's such a brilliant series.
there was an episode with basically, I think it's called The Curse of Ramses, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's about this ancient mummy putting a curse on the land, and he has this echoey voice, and he just goes, "Return the slab."
I think my favorite part of that is when Eustace finally goes like, "What's your offer?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh boy."
What's your offer? Yeah, no, I'm sorry, that was my favorite show growing up. My mom actually loved that show too, although it scared the crap out of her.
The thing that the attention to detail is what got me. Like each individual antagonist in the show has their own soundtrack.
Yes, their own
it's like
thing.
it's like if I put a soundtrack in front of you, it might take you a couple guesses, but you feel like, by process of elimination, I think I could sit here, play all of them on my laptop, and just be like, which one is this? Starting with Cats.
I was gonna
That's
say,
the most
fucking
easiest
Cats
one.
is the best
Iconic.
scene.
Just this jazzy, catchy hi-hat
Up
thing
for a bit of
was his...
sport before you die.
That's
I
probably my favorite
loved
one.
Cats. He
My
was wonderful.
second one is the fox.
Yes, the smooth fox who
Yeah.
just wants the recipe. But I think the
No,
scary...
he wanted Muriel to cook in the stew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that, and he also wanted her recipe for
Yeah, he
jam.
wanted a recipe.
But, okay, so I'm not sure if anyone else is going to agree with me. The absolute scariest moment in Courage for me is Doc Gerbil's world, the ending sequence. The ending sequence where it gets silent. And all it is just that deadly music. And the ending when he goes off the cliff, and there's no sound effects. It's just that, and I'm like, at first as a kid, I'm like, is that an error? And then
Because there's no crash sound when he goes over the edge.
but then you're
It's
like,
just-
oh my god, I feel wrong watching this.
Yeah.
Someone's
He
He
died.
fucking
He's
died.
dead.
He's dead.
No, but
No,
okay. So Courage the Cowardly Dog. One of the things I appreciated about it as well is that it would like address actual issues, but like the kids weren't necessarily aware of it. But like with Doc Gerbil's world, one of the things he was talking about is the testing of cosmetic
Yeah,
things
on animals.
And inhumane things like that. And here's Doc Gerbil who's taking humans and he's testing products on them, and it's a commentary that I get now as an adult, but I wasn't aware of that. You know, for me it was just kind of like a scary
One of the
experience.
scariest. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm
Okay.
done.
One of the scariest parts of an episode for me was another of the CG moments. It was when Courage goes through the whole episode, like the "You're Not Perfect" episode,
Oh god.
and he's at the very end of it. It's not even the CG that scares me. That "You're not perfect." That doesn't scare me. It's the dream sequence after, because it's so many quick shifts in animation. It's just very jarring to like somebody of that age. That's what scared the hell out of me. It wasn't even.
Another oddly scary moment, and this is because my brain couldn't process it at the time. During I forget which episode it's called, but the one with the domestic abuse.
Oh,
When
yeah.
he goes to save Kitty, or Bunny, and he runs through and he opens doors and sees things. There's one where, I don't know why, my kid brain saw it this way. He opens a door and there's a girl with a violin, and when she
Yes.
turns, it looks like she has no legs, they're bones. And it happened so fast that my brain immediately picked something horrifyingly scary is going to be here, and that's what it was. Ends up, it was just a girl with a violin. But at the time, because she's facing away from you, and he's like, hello, and she just quickly turns around, that scarred me for a bit until I rewatched the episode. I'm like, she doesn't have bones, she just has legs.
I was a little
It
bit
was like-
younger than you, and like they had an advert running on Cartoon Network for a long time where it featured that episode. And every single time I remember, I just had like one of the tube TVs across the room from me. I'd run across the room and turn off the TV for a good minute and a half, just waiting for that to go away.
Yeah.
So
There's this art, part of what brings this back to the forefront for me is that I was actually browsing on the internet today, and I found this artist who did some drawings of the characters and like some of the villains.
Oh, I've
Oh,
seen
okay.
that. Yeah,
Yes.
the creepy,
Yeah.
creepy
Mhm.
drawings.
Yes.
I found it on 9gag. If anybody wants to find it, you can just search Courage Cowardly Dog villains.
Or just bring it up and put it in the doobly-doo, whatever.
Yeah,
you
that's
want
true.
to call it.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
maybe if I'm not lazy, I'll add all
it
the
actually
pictures.
reminded me of the scariest villain to me. It was always a tie between Ramses and the woman from the puddle.
Okay, I was thinking
Oh,
Fred.
Fred was a little freaky,
Fred,
but
yeah.
the woman from the
Ah,
puddle.
yeah.
Naughty.
Do you remember?
Oh yeah, the woman who took Eustace. Yeah, that was creepy.
Like, but
Actually,
that she
really
literally
love that
turned
episode.
into a crazy creature with this giant mouth, and she could teleport across puddles, like go through
Yeah.
various. Oh,
Courage
creepy.
is probably the reason I love all of that horror stuff.
When I was a little
just
kid-
creepy, dark horror.
After I
stuff.
watched that episode, I actually wouldn't go near puddles for a while.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
it bothered me.
Yes.
I
Okay.
hated being. Oh, sorry.
No, you-
Like I always hated. Like I'd take baths when I was younger. I would always make sure I was all the way out of the bathtub before I even unplugged it. Not even because
Same.
of that episode either.
I was the same way.
For some
Yeah.
reason, in my crazy brain, I was just like, scorpions are gonna come out of the drain and come
Yeah.
get me if I'm
Oh,
in
yeah.
the tub.
My problem isn't scorpions. I had a problem with getting in and out of the bathtub because as a young kid, I watched horror movies and I saw it. And that
You
yeah.
should
shower
not watch as a
scene-
young kid.
Because like here's the thing, it's like I've noticed because I didn't watch it until I was an adult.
Right.
If you watch it as a child, you are
It's
probably
terrifying.
borderline like afraid of clowns to this day.
I'm
It's
not afraid of
absolutely
clowns,
scary.
but that was
I watched it when I was 19 and I loved it. It's like yes, it
Yeah.
was creepy, but like just the guy who played it, I can't remember who it
Are
was.
Fucking-
are you talking about the new one?
The old one.
old
Okay.
ones. Fucking Tim Curry
It's Tim Curry.
being
Yeah, it's
Tim
Tim
Curry.
The new one is
The new one's Alexander Skarsgård.
I like the new one.
Yeah.
I actually really like the new one, not the second part, but the first part. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
You see. I've only seen the first part. That movie would have actually been scary if there wasn't an audio cue right before. Because like every single time that something scary was about to happen, a second and a half before there'd be this ooh
Yeah.
sound. It was
Yeah.
Like an Inception sound.
Yes.
It was very similar.
Well, they do it because it's a what's it called? The thing with the dog.
like,
What's his
Pavlov?
name? Pavlov. It's a
Yeah, it's
Pavlovian.
Pavlovian
yeah.
training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're meant to associate the sound with dread.
it's like I
Yeah.
understand that. It's just like it would have been interesting if at one point in the movie they decided not to use that sound, so you were like not expecting anything, and then all of a sudden, boom, something.
I actually
happens.
walked into it counting all the jump scares because I knew it was gonna come.
Because I'm actually not like I'm not the hugest on jump scares when it comes to horror. I do prefer the suspense, the Hitchcock approach of create as much horrible feeling in a person's gut as you can. Like those
Yeah.
are the ones that stick with me.
That's why I liked Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah.
Because it was a roller coaster the entire movie, and even some of the parts where it was literally Looney Tunes, like when the anvil literally falls
Yeah.
on the head, was still terrifying.
Still, yeah. It's the funny part is I think a good effective horror movie should blend both techniques. Like it can't be all jump scares or it's just cheap. It can't be all suspense or it's going to be boring. And so did anybody watch Mama when it
No.
came out?
Ugh.
I had actual nightmares about that movie. I didn't think it was going to be scary going in. It's about basically this family. It's a mother and her two children move into a new house. I think there was probably something to do with a breakup there. But it's this old house, and it's being haunted by the spirit of this lady who claims the young children as her children, and one of them is entirely bewitched by this character, entirely brainwashed, like thinks that calls this creature mama. And then there's the other older sister is hesitant, and the mother character, the actual mother, is having to fight with this creature over her children. It's really rough.
There's one movie that is literally nothing but suspense, and I hate it.
Which one?
I can't remember the name of the movie. It was a house, and this girl with her father and uncle go to see it, and as they go in, the big thing about this movie is it's done in one shot, quote unquote.
Oh,
So
you see, those can be kind of hit or miss. It
So
depends.
the thing is like the cinematography of it is really good. Like the fact that you can't tell where the cuts are, you feel like you're following this person throughout. But a lot of the supernatural stuff either never happens and it's all build up and nothing else, or the things that are obvious from the very beginning of the movie when the random girl shows up and starts dropping hints. You're like, she's a ghost.
Yeah.
She's not real. It's clearly a thing.
Literally any human would be like, why is this disturbing young girl here? And why is
Yeah.
she talking? Why
Exactly.
is she speaking in riddles about
Yeah.
this home that I'm looking at?
Well, the thing is, it was a normal conversation from one of the neighbors around. He's like, oh, this house is, this and that. But the way she talks is very, like...
Old?
Not old. I'm going to spoil the movie because I think this movie's shit and don't watch it. Basically...
You
this
don't
is
even
the
know
house-
the name of it. So.
Yeah, this is the house she grew up in. And basically, she got raped by her, well, molested and I guess raped. It's kind of implied by her father and
There is
uncle.
monetization, by the way.
What?
You're not allowed to say that word on YouTube.
Oh, I don't know shit.
Yeah.
Well, are we monetized? Have you monetized any of the videos? Then I don't give a shit.
You see, we're not at that point yet. There's a certain.
Yeah, no.
I was gonna go over.
Worst case scenario, you can always bleep it with like some stupid sound
You
effects.
can.
Yeah.
But the fact is that it's implied that she's been raped and molested, and basically they
Implied.
took pictures and sold it, and this is just a revisit of that. But the whole movie is building up that there's something in the house that's terrifying, and there's no payoff. Even when the payoff is supposedly happening, when you get the reveal of everything, and then the movie just kind of ends, and
It
you're
just
like,
ends at the climax.
yeah,
There's no resolution, no tying up of loose ends, nothing.
No, it immediately, it's like, oh, they know, and they know she knows, and I don't even remember how it specifically ends. I just remember the movie ends, and we're like, wait, no, like, we're at the halfway point, right? Like, did we literally, what time is it?
And then you
Did we
check
just
your
waste
phone.
2 hours?
Yeah, you check your phone and it's literally been an hour, 30 minutes, and you're just like, oh.
It's like,
It's
we watch,
basically when anything is predictable, that's when it gets me. Because I remember when Halo 5 Guardians came out. I know. But when Halo 5 Guardians came out, I was playing it with my friend Tyler.
You were doing
And
the two-player
have you-
storyline, yeah.
No. There was no two-player
No.
storyline. Split screen wasn't a thing in that game, if I'm remembering correctly. But there was. Have you played it, Rich?
I got up to 4, and after that, there's no hope left.
Well, there's this scene where when
All
Locke
hope
is
is
going to
gone.
hunt down Chief, the Master Chief.
Yeah.
He gets handed this little armor lock thingy, and I looked at Tyler. I was like, "Watch this. Master Chief's going to use that unlock. He's going to flip it around." About an hour and a half later, there's a fight, and I need to mention that it's only like 1 minute and 36 seconds when it's branded that this whole movie is going to be about this whole game is going to be about their
Movie.
epic fight across the galaxy.
Hell of a movie, though.
A minute and a half of a fight, and then Chief takes the thing at the last minute, just right there, and I'm like, if it's that predictable, I'm sorry, like, it's like, I understand Master Chief's a badass, he's the best thing that's ever happened, yada yada, but it's like,
Locke was supposed to be at least some sort of...
a match to the
Yeah.
Master Chief. Like,
Yeah.
it was implied that they were,
It's
with
going to
the
be a
dual
difficult fight.
trailers, it
Yes.
was implied that they were equals.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But,
And
but
then
at
you
the
get
same
into the
time,
game, and
they were
not
not going to
only-
let anybody be equal to Master Chief because he's the savior.
I
you
just
know?
wanted to doubt it for a little bit.
Sure. Okay, so hold on. I got to go back to cartoons for a second.
Okay, I'm always down for that.
Okay.
I'm
So,
always down for cartoons.
shitty, like, Cartoon Network cartoons, like, have any of you heard of Chicken and Cow?
Cow and chicken.
Cow and Chicken?
yes.
Yeah, I love
Mama
that
had
show.
a chicken. The mama had a cow. Dad was proud, but he didn't
Yes.
care how.
Yes.
Yeah, continue.
There's the episode where they eat ass. They literally eat ass. Yes. It's literally like it's like think of like the back think of a pig's ass, right? Just cut off, put on a
I
plate.
remember that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Did you forget about the lesbian episode?
I was gonna say the band episode.
The Buffalo Girls.
Buffalo Girl.
Yeah.
And they would literally bust into a house and start chewing on the carpet.
That was the whole gag.
That was the whole gag. Yes.
Ah.
The thing is,
Yeah.
like, the like, thinking about it now, yeah, the jokes are a little offensive, but they...
Well, it's not the offensiveness that really bothers me. It's more like, that's...
Yeah.
No, but the thing is, like, this cartoon actually was trying to push... Like, I don't want to say it was going to push equal rights in any manner.
Well,
they were
yeah.
making jokes.
Yeah.
But they had respect that at the end of the day, the Buffalo Gals were good people.
Yes.
It's just that Cow and Chicken can't do good people. Because Cow and Chicken is literally like, we're going to make this situation, crash the fuck out of it,
Yeah.
and then make the censors go like, can we show this? I don't know if we can show this.
I mean,
In the 90s for animation.
Rocco's Modern Life had a lot of those moments too, if we're gonna be honest with you.
Oh baby, oh baby.
Mrs.
Ow! Mrs. Pink.
No, honestly, Rocco's Modern Life was one of the most fucking brilliant shows.
Thank you.
And even
Yes.
nowadays, we don't fully go... You know that the title of the show is not only its premise, but is literally followed through each fucking episode.
Yes.
It's all about making fun of as a kid, I didn't even think about it. I was like, it's not making... It's just making fun of everyday life. Not realizing it was making fun of the modern changes that most people were going through in the 90s.
Yes.
And that's why when they did the reboot of it, the 1 hour special, that was fucking brilliant. Even if they did cater to a lot of like internet culture, they did They did it in a very respectable way, at least in my eyes. I think they fucking nailed it, where they basically said, we're going to parody modern life as it is from the 90s. Like how the Rocco was parodying it from the view of the 80s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was fucking brilliant. And every time they do it. Every episode.
But no, everybody was upset because the big head's child was trans.
Trans.
Yeah.
But that was actually a really great plot line.
Exactly.
It's like if it's done
They did,
right.
but that's the thing, because they didn't watch the show. They just
Yeah.
got mad at it before they.
Exactly.
And my thing is, yes, the LGBT thing can get pushed in stupid ways sometimes when it comes to. When it comes to casting, and we're talking about, you know, retrofitting characters to be gay after the fact, or like things like that. And that's not the kind of representation most LGBT folks want anyway.
They want a character that is and represents them, and not someone who is like, oh, you like this character? Well, now they represent you!
Yeah. And it's like, no, write that from the start. If you're doing something, write that in from the start, and make it natural. A lot of people don't know, like...
Because a lot of these things, it feels like they're reaching for a quick buck. Like, it's like, it's
Miles
easy.
Morales is queer, and nobody really
No one cares.
minds or cares. Because it's
yeah.
not the biggest part of his character.
Yes.
He's Miles Morales. He's not, hi, I'm
Hi, I'm Miles!
Hi, I'm Miles, by the way, I'm Pan, and that literally impacts literally everything that I do. No, he's Miles Morales, first and foremost.
It's,
And he's
I guess-
Spider-Man. That is...
It's kind of like how a lot of people got on the Loud House's case when they did it with, I can't remember her name. They're all L names, and I can't remember any of their names. I'm gonna for the straight for the record, the Loud House is actually a fucking amazing modern cartoon.
I actually haven't seen
I've
that.
heard a lot of things
Oh,
about it.
it's- Okay, so let me nerd out about animation for like 2 seconds.
Okay.
I know a lot of people say the 90s is the golden age of animation, blah blah blah. No, as someone who grew up in the 90s and loves every one of those cartoons, no. The golden age is literally 2010 to about 2018 was the fucking golden age, and it was ushered in by Adventure Time. And I hate to say it, but Adventure Time definitely did something that was so
It was
amazing.
so good.
It's a good show. I don't
So-
like the beginning of it. It's way too random, and I don't like
It's
random
boring.
humor. And they definitely molded it into something great.
As soon as the subplot kicks in,
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, it kicked off an entire generation, and a lot of people say Avatar started it, and I can see that argument, and I will give that
And then Legend of
validation.
Korra definitely picked up the...
Yeah, picked up that pace.
And Ron Perlman's voice acting is the Lich. Like, when he's standing there, and
Absolutely.
he's just like, fall. Like, that moment, it's like, oh my god, this is gonna be a good
But
character.
the thing is, because they
Absolutely.
took what the '90s started, where it was it's no longer commercialization, and they took it to the next step of we're not talking down to children. We refuse to do that here.
Yeah.
Steven Universe, okay, comes and goes in waves.
Yeah, it
Well,
does.
It comes. There's some days where I'm like, wow, they really took that issue and really ran with it. And then there are days where I'm like, no, you probably should have baked it in the oven a little longer. That idea was raw as fuck.
Yeah.
Worst one. Okay, and this might get into a really serious conversation. I'm gonna try not to. But there's one episode of OKKO where they talk about guns.
Oh god.
And in a show about fighting, video game style, they decide they're going to bring in this subplot where a guy comes in, he's got a skeleton remote, and he's selling it, and it's like a gun salesman. It makes all your problems go away. You don't like them, you point them, they're a skeleton now. And when they ask how you reverse it, you don't. They're skeletons. So how are we going to go about this? And the solution at the end is talk to your senator and your governor to remove skeleton remotes.
Oh.
And this is where it triggered something in my mind. Where's the borderline between a cartoon taking on a subject and doing it in a more of a PSA or propaganda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think, because here's the thing, I think the way that started off, good. You're warning kids that guns are dangerous. They do need to be handled with absolute care because the effects are irreversible.
Yes.
If you make a decision with a gun, you can't take it back, right?
yeah,
But once you're taking it to policy in action, I think that that's where it breaches over into.
Yeah.
Like, because, I mean, the same thing with gay issues. It's like, yes, there are issues that we need to campaign for in politics, but perhaps that's not the realm for children. Perhaps what we need to help children with is treat others with kindness, treat others the way that you would want to be treated, and some people are different from you, and that's fine. But don't be saying, okay, kids, now go out there in drag and like dress in drag now at age 8, and that's acceptable. And speaking of which, does anybody know about the Desmond is Amazing situation?
Yes, I'm aware of it.
So things like that do kind of bother me a little bit. I'm very concerned for kids who are in sexualizing environments like that, and people aren't trying to pull them out of it because that might be politically incorrect. Desmond's literally sat in an interview next to a guy who went to jail for murder. He is sitting on a couch in between two guys, like they're making references to drugs, and not only does Desmond understand the drug references, he's playing along. I mean, like, this kid is, he was 11, let's see, he was very young when he started, 11 when he blew up. I want to say he's 12 now, possibly 12.
I don't remember when it started. I remember it started a while ago, though.
And that's something that I have a real issue with. It's like...
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a serious
because
situation.
do kids need to understand, especially, I mean, if you're 11, I think 11-year-olds understand that gay people exist, that trans people exist,
Yes.
and that drag is a thing, and you know, things like that. But should an 11-year-old be performing a Gwen Stefani drag show in a drag club, having dollars thrown at him, surrounded by adults?
That goes into a moral gray area, which I'm not gonna say I don't want to touch, because clearly it's something that needs to be addressed.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna just state for the record that as far as opinion goes, I'm kind of on your side on that one. I don't think that's an environment for a child at all.
Yeah.
But at the same, on the same coin, if I could play a little devil's advocate here, I actually have a personal philosophy that you shouldn't hide things from kids. Is one thing I like from Mr. Rogers, and where he would talk about it delicately, but he knew that shit exists in the world, and to try to hide it from children is a disservice to them, since at the end of the day, they're taking over your place.
Don't get it twisted either.
Yeah.
Also, people on the internet, don't get it twisted.
They got it, but don't worry about it.
Don't get it twisted. If
This
you
will
have
come
a
back to
son,
us in 5
if
years.
you have a son, right, and he wants to experiment with putting on nail polish, putting on makeup, things like that, let him.
Yeah.
Let him live his life. But do keep in mind, you also don't need to sugarcoat it to him that, sweetie, if you do this stuff outside in the real world, there will be some people who are horrible, and they're going to make fun of you. But like, my thing is, it's not so much that he was doing drag. It was the location that was inappropriate. Yeah. There's a reason why most bars won't even let you in if you're under 18.
Yeah.
There is a reason.
Yes.
And that's because there are adults under the influence of alcohol in there, and that's not an environment that's best suited for a teenager or preteen.
I don't even think it's that suitable for somebody who's until they're about 21, because it's just like...
Well, yeah, exactly.
Because I've been 18 in a bar, and it was not the most fun.
Unless you've explicitly been around people like your parents, which, you know, things could be said about that, where it's like, you know, I'm gonna have a couple drinks, like, this is how this is. And it's like, you know, if you haven't had the experience of being around people who drink, you might not understand what's going on, like, why is this person acting like, and I'm talking about completely sheltered. I'm not talking about completely sheltered.
Right.
I'm talking about, like, like somebody pushes you and gets very hostile very quickly. Right. You might not understand, like, oh, hey, that guy's just drunk. Just let him be.
Exactly.
Because I used to go to, like, when I was 18, okay, I can't say 18, I was like 19, 20 at the time. I went to a specific club on Long Island that's like a hole-in-the-wall bar, and they allowed 18 and over, they even allowed 16 and over to go in. You would get a bracelet or something to show that you can, because this was a venue. And it's like a shit hole-in-the-wall bar with a small stage.
You have to get it. You get an X on your hand that shows that you're underage. Yeah.
But they have a big bands come here, like Ace Frehley. I saw Doro there. Big bands come there, so they allow kids in.
Right.
I think it's like 16 or over. It might be 18 or over, but I swear it was like 16 or over. I'm sure some people were 16 and probably shouldn't have been there, but you know, kids.
Fake IDs. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. I was young. I'm 28 and I still don't like bars, but that's a different story. But like even then, the only time I ever cared is if there's a show or it's a nerd bar. I fucking love nerd bars.
They're cute. They were so cute.
I went to one that was karaoke. They had Smash on the wall. They had old consoles, and like it was a good time. I enjoyed that bar. Lizard Lounge on Long Island. Go there. It's great.
Yeah.
If it's still there, I have no idea.
We are not sponsored.
Not sponsored. I'm
go
just
check
saying
them out.
because it's a good place.
Uh-huh.
But oddly enough, some creepy people there. But then again, bars. So
But then again, I'm not even gonna say that. That's controversial.
yeah.
Okay, so instead of your controversy, I'm gonna have controversy.
Woo!
So,
Oh yeah.
so you said you were talking about the whole thing, and the person was next to somebody who went to jail like for murder.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my thing. This is my take because of things that happened. Very early in my life, there was a lot of violence, right? And so very quickly, I accepted the fact that not everybody's meant to die of old age.
Right.
It's just a fact, So, there's people in the world that you just, if something was to happen to them, hey.
I mean, I'm not gonna go too in depth,
Yes.
but I've told you I have a shit list,
Yes.
and there's only about 2 people on it. And if they died tomorrow, I'm not gonna say I would celebrate it and be happy.
Oh, sure
But I'd
thing,
be
yeah.
like, oh, cool. What am I having for dinner tonight?
Exactly. Well, it's like when that fucking what's his name? And you can cut this if you want to. The
Yeah.
Koch brothers,
I guess.
the two super rich people that
Yeah, the
are
Koch
like
brothers.
shitheads.
Okay.
When the one of them died, I was like, yeah, fuck him. Good for the fucking world. The world's a better place without him. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I have
it
the
really
opposite
is.
opinion on that one. Not to say that he was probably a great person or anything.
Oh, he was a
or-
shitbag.
I'm sure. I just like at the end of the day, death is such a big thing. I don't take it lightly.
Well, it was proof that the Koch brothers were allowing, like, in a bunch of their factories, were taking like illegal immigrant labor and abusing it,
I
basically
figure.
by paying them under the table and as such underpaying them, which not only takes jobs away from Americans but also is dehumanizing,
Yes.
Very politic
So-
heavy in this episode.
which is fine.
Well, that's it.
No.
I mean,
Dude, I swing every way in this case.
exactly.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I was only making it half sexual. Then you just drove it all the way home. No, but that's what I did in college. Is my favorite story is one end of the table is talking about quantum physics, and we're talking about the differences between the dimensions. The other side was saying, like sexting in the shower is just getting 2 things done at once. that was my college. That was my college life.
I guess I will clarify what I mean by he murdered somebody.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, he and I believe his roommate or partner or something like that
Yeah.
killed someone in an argument, dismembered them, and then
Yeah.
threw the body into the Hudson River. I
Yeah.
mean, like,
Yeah.
Fucking mafia shit.
yeah, no, real mafia shit.
We
Yeah.
go to the fucking East River.
Like,
We're doing
it
the
was
other river, but ain't
extreme
good to the East
violence.
River.
Extreme violence. Only served 17 years. Interesting. But also he's been joking about on podcasts and shows with he was joking with one drag queen about like ketamine.
Yeah.
Like they made a ketamine joke, and
Yeah.
then Desmond goes
Oh yeah.
like that. I'm like, you are 12.
Yes.
Sit down over there.
Yep.
Like, and then that is another concern. Is like, clearly not every drag queen is addicted to drugs. Not every drag
Well,
queen
yeah.
uses drugs.
Exactly.
However,
Yes.
in some circuits, in some drag, especially in the big cities like San Fran and places like that, there is an issue with party drugs like ketamine and cocaine and MDMA and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And he doesn't need to be surrounded by that.
He does.
He's 12.
No.
He's
Yes.
12.
Exactly.
Yeah, continue.
Everybody knows Angry Beavers, right?
Oh,
Angry Beavers.
I'm ready for
Yes.
this conversation already.
Okay. Angry Beavers was an amazing show.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
As an adult, I realize how dumb I am.
Yeah.
No. And on top of it, just the name of it alone, and then there was like this whole thing of them having like this. There was one episode, and maybe it was multiple, where they were competing against each other to win a prize. And you know what the prize was called?
What?
A lickety split.
A lickety. I fucking love that one. That's their favorite. That's their favorite segment.
Yes.
The lickety splits.
Yes.
No, that was the '90s was just innuendo on innuendo
Yeah.
that kids just fucking wouldn't get, and then the early 2000s happened, and you weren't allowed to say
My-
the word death.
My favorite was the Powerpuff Girls when they brought their girlfriend over to the house And
Oh God.
this is the professor. He made us by accident in his lab. Don't worry, Professor. I was an accident too.
And you do like the crazy sound effects.
And his
All
face
the
is
adults
like-
in the room are like,
And the professor's face is just like,
No, Dot. Fingerprints.
stop.
I don't think they
I don't think so.
give me the bird. We love to really, but the Fox Censors won't allow it. I fucking love Animaniacs.
Oh
too.
my God.
They're trying to bring them back, and I think they've already done the recording and everything. They know it's in progress. It's going.
You know,
It
to
won't
be
be
honest,
in
I do
years,
think
yeah.
that. Well, I do think that is a good concept for kids in this generation because you know
Yeah.
how we're talking about how the average attention span has gone down over time.
Yeah.
Well, it's sketch comedy. That's perfect then.
First
It's
off,
sketch
it was-
comedy.
My God, the references that Animaniacs used to do. They did a fucking Les Mis episode.
Yes.
They did
It's
a
one of
Les
my
Mis
favorites.
episode.
Yes.
It's with
He's never
Viva
seen
Not.
Les Mis, so he won't get it.
Don't talk about it.
He's
Don't-
uncultured.
Don't worry about it. You won't get
You
much about
just
it.
saw Les Mis last
I
week.
did just see the traveling Broadway show. I did.
But the
I'm
thing is,
cultured.
I love that
Like me
time.
and support me on the internet, please. I'm important. I'm cool. I'm cool, guys. I know references.
I actually went to Broadway to see a high-end show called Avenue Q. I actually did though. That was a trip. Being okay.
I saw Newsies.
Okay, this is the last thing we'll do
Wicked
because we're
Yes.
going too long. But I went when I lived in Long Island. I went with my sister and her friend to go to Broadway to see Avenue Q. So I knew about because I knew the songs and everything from YouTube.
Right.
So I go there. We sit down. I think I was 16 at the time. My sister was 17, and we took the train in, and we walked. We ran because my sister missed the train, and she had to catch us 2 fucking blocks. No, I was 17. She was 18 because she had a driver's license. But she had to travel to 3 different stations to beat the train to get on the fucking train, and she didn't even make it, so I had to get off. But besides that, we ran into the theater just before the curtain opened. And sit down, and that's when I realized that I'm going to a show I know is just adult Sesame Street on crack. So I'm ready for what they're gonna throw at me. Sitting in front of us was like these uppity rich people who were like, you know, on their phone like,
They
oh, I
don't
heard
know.
the show's got great reviews and
Whoa,
everything.
Avenue
And
Q.
when the puppets are having sex on stage and the big puppets are leaning over it, that's when I realized they didn't know what they were in for, and
No.
I'm sitting here and fucking dying. Is there like
That's
what?
That's me when I went to go see. Okay, he and my aunt and uncle have season tickets to the Peace Center, and they were out of town when Dear Evan Hansen was coming through. They gave them to me and him. He and I went, and I don't think that the uppity, stuffy, southern rich people around us were prepared for the amount of F-bombs that were going to be dropped in that show. I mean, because it's a comedy about, I mean, it's kind of going to sound crazy when I say it, when I describe it. It's a comedy about a kid at school who's goth, doesn't talk to anybody, doesn't have any friends, kills himself.
Rip Roaring a good
But
time.
the main character is Evan Hansen, and he had broken his arm, and the kid had signed the cast one day just in a fit of, like, being weird, like, and he was aloof basically the whole time. And Evan is madly in love with that kid's younger sister, and they see his name on the cast, so he makes up an elaborate lie about he and this dude were secretly best friends for years, and there were like, basically it's an elaborate lie, and he goes around and he's like, they're doing like anti-suicide campaigns and things like that, and it's crazy. It's an amazing show. Everybody go watch it, please. But these uppity rich people were not prepared. Not only was it F-bombs, I mean, there's sexual innuendos, it's teenage humor.
To be fair, like a majority of the crowd took it quite well because everyone
They
was
did.
laughing the whole time.
They did. I did look around and see some faces like, just looking
And
from
it's
side to
okay.
side like, is this okay?
It's
Is this-
okay to laugh. It's just a joke, not a dick. Don't take it. So
Yeah,
hard.
honestly.
But my actual final one is similar to that. I went to go see Ghost in the city, and I go there, and it's just after they won their second Grammy. I don't know.
Oh,
But
that goes. For some reason, I was thinking Patrick Swayze movie Ghost.
no. I went to go see just a live rendition of Ghost. Actually,
Yeah.
no, I went to
Talking
go see
about,
Ghost.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking Ritual, Night of the Witch. I can't think of all the
Satanism,
names.
yeah.
But fucking Square Hammer. But I go see them and I'm like, yeah, I'm ready for it. And all of a sudden I see like There's a lot of metalheads there. There's some people who are people I can see being music fans. Then there's these older gentlemen who are there, and then these like soccer moms walk in, and I'm like, do they know what's going on stage?
No,
I mean,
yeah.
it's cool if they're cool with it.
If
that's
they
cool.
like it, then great.
But they're sitting in the mosh zone. That's gonna be a problem. And they're sitting there talking, and they once in a while they'll talk to us, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we heard they got Grammys. They're good." I'm like, "Oh no, they're socialites. Oh god, this is gonna end terribly in 10 minutes."
I can't wait.
I can't wait till they give the Eucharist out, and they're like, "This seems satanic in nature," and I'm like, "Oh really?"
I want to go
What
to a
gave you
concert
that
now
idea?
to see that.
I took the Eucharist. I didn't take the wine because health
Eucharist.
reasons, but I took the Eucharist.
Yes.
But we get there and they ask like, what kind of music is it? And I'm like, it's like a heavier version of Blue Oyster Cult for the most part. And they're like, oh, I like Blue Oyster Cult. Yeah, I said heavier, like a little bit heavier. It's still melodic like Blue Oyster Cult, but they're heavier.
That's why I like them. It's like
It's not even the music that's necessarily heavier. It's the look.
yeah,
No, the music is a bit more
Not
deeper.
that much, but
It's like not real. Like it is, but like I like the whole, like I said, the heavy Blue Oyster Cult thing. I love that, like that, and I'm not even really that big of like a psychedelics person. I'm not.
No, I fucking love.
I'm the
Blue Oyster
biggest
Cult.
square in the world, but
he is.
I don't drink nor smoke.
I enjoy like that sound. It's just like it's something chill. It's like if I'm having a bad day, I put it on. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that the mosh starts, and I didn't see him again.
They probably left.
They probably did.
The
But
minute
God, like I was at the Paramount. That shit gets crazy. Wait, Ghost, Paramount. Yeah, I was at the Paramount. That shit gets crazy. It's the floor is just concrete. So
the minute that Tobias Forge probably walked out on stage, it was like Hail Satan. Is probably when they were like,
because it's and to let people in on it, it's a tongue-in-cheek satanic band.
Yeah.
It's
They're not legitimate.
They're not legit. Even like legitimate satanic band people, Neil Diamond even goes like, "Look, man, they're not real. I respect what they do, but they're not." And I'm like, respectful. That's fine.
because it's like you got to be completely overt about it in a way. Like it's so over. It's like Ozzy
These fucking
Osbourne.
nuns. They give
And
out
Black
the Eucharist.
It's like like I said, it's like Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath. It's that whole thing of like, oh yeah, Satan, like that whole thing.
Which is funny because when you hear Ozzy, if you hear
It's
Crazy
literally, how
Train,
can I
it's a
piss
hippie song.
off-
Yes.
How
Absolutely.
can I piss off my dad?
Yeah. Fucking Crazy Train is about having mental illness and living post-Cold War.
Yes.
It's actually a hippie song. And then you
Yeah.
have Revelation Mother Earth, which is all about, like, you're fucking murdering the planet. Stop it. And I'm like, he's a hippie. When I went to
Yes.
my music class, we were talking about rock and metal, and they turned to me because I was the only metalhead in the class. And they're like, so describe metal. And I said, angry hippies. And they're like, what? And my teacher's like, no, he's got a point.
no, let him talk.
He's like, have you heard Osmosis? Not Osmosis. Let's not talk about that. Have you heard Diary of a Madman? Have you heard fucking what's the other one with Crazy Train on it? Fuck. I am blank. The one with Crazy Train on it. Have you heard that album? It's literally all about like, hey man, we just need to love more. Also, fuck everything, but we need to love more.
Alright, I think this is a good
Also
place.
biting the heads off of birds.
That was an accident.
I know.
I think this is a good place to end the episode, guys. So I'm gonna start walking over to the computer.
Which is going to take him 5,000 years because he's tripping over everything.
I'm gonna walk slowly so I don't make noise. Anything you guys want to plug? Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to plug in that whatever you were supposed to be doing, get back to it. Your hour's done, probably longer than that. We gave you more time. We hit the snooze button for you. So it's time to get back on it. Your project, your work.
Yeah,
Fucking get off.
The snooze button because I'm fucking boring.